to Arise with Grace, the podcast that celebrates and empowers the stories of strong, resilient women of faith who have moved from surviving to thriving and from pain to promise. I am your host, Phoenix Grace. I've been through both literal and figurative fires in my life. In the midst of my wilderness season, God told me, "You have walked through fire and survived. Now you will rise from the ashes and thrive." So I did. Now I have made it my mission to help empower women to be who they were created to be and live life in full bloom: physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. Good morning, everyone. This is Phoenix Grace here from Life in Bloom. As you know, Life in Bloom, we help empower women to be who they were created to be and live life in full bloom, which is physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. So I invited my friend and colleague, Erica Ord, on to talk a little bit about her health story, her health transformation. So Erica is from Arkansas, and she has the most lovely accent. And she's a very powerful woman of faith, and I've learned a lot from her, and I'm just so grateful to have been connected to her. It's a God thing, I know that. So yeah, Erica, if you can tell a little bit more about yourself, where you started, what you did, where you are now.
Yeah. Well, thanks for having me on. I think we've got an echo again, but we'll work through it. But thanks for having me on. I'm really excited to get to talk to you and your audience and just kind of share. I am from Arkansas in the central area of the U.S. We are moving into fall season right now, so our colors and everything are going to start to shift. I think yours are probably already there.
Yeah, they are.
I hear that the fall foliage in Canada is amazing. So one of these days, maybe I'll get to see that.
Ooh, come visit, come visit.
I would love that. So yeah, I'm here in Arkansas. I do an inner healing and freedom ministry, and that's one of my passions, is for the body of Christ to mature and to heal, body, soul, and spirit. And so, what we are going to talk about today just kind of slides right into that whole healing that the Lord wants for us. He wants us to be whole, and not just in our spirit and our soul, but also in our body. I mean, he went to the cross, he died for our salvation, but he died also for us to be healed and saved. So as much as we're saved, we are also healed. So yeah, super. It's one of my passions.
Awesome. So good. So have you always been this radiant, Christ-filled woman that I see before me?
No, absolutely not. So yeah, just a quick background. I actually did not grow up in church. I grew up hating Christians. I grew up hating the church and actually hating God, honestly.
Wow.
And, as the Lord does, he pursues a little at a time. He puts people in your path. And he's just so loving and gracious that way, that he's constantly pursuing. So he pursued me pretty heavily. And it was, I think, 2006, honestly, when I finally let him catch me and I stopped running and strong arming, and got baptized in 2007. And so it's been a process ever since then of learning his heart for me and learning who I am in him, and undoing a lot of the things that I had learned, also the things that I had picked up, and the experiences and the wounds that I had gathered throughout my life. So yeah, that. And then, since we're talking about body health, Wasn't always healthy there either. I ate a lot of junk. I was a self-professed junk food junkie.
Mm-hmm.
Potatoes, fast food, sodas. I probably had, um, gosh, I was 5 soda a day person for a long time. And then just a few years ago, let's see, what year was that? 2019. I have to think about that. Yeah, because it feels like the last couple of years have just kind of meshed together. So
Yeah.
2019, I actually was diagnosed with breast cancer, and
Wow.
so I, went through all of that. I was
So
fortunate.
2 years ago,
Yeah.
almost 3 years ago. Wow.
Yeah, just not that long ago. I was
Mm-hmm.
fortunate to not need chemotherapy. I did radiation and I had a lumpectomy. So I was fortunate in that area. But in that, in talking with my surgical oncologist, we did
Mm-hmm.
all the DNA testing that you can do to find out if you have a propensity for cancer, right? If it's in your
Okay.
DNA.
Yeah.
And, there's the BRCA 1 and 2 test, but then there's an extensive test that you can do um, to find out if you are susceptible to other cancers.
Oh
And
wow.
all of my tests came back negative. I had
Yeah.
no genes for cancer. And so, of course, what's the question on everybody's mind? Well, how did this happen to me? How did
Mm-hmm.
this how did this cancer get in my body? And the surgeon actually said, and I don't think many will tell you this, but she said, well, I believe that it is in the food, it's in the air, it's in our water.
Wow.
But
Wow. That's a
specifically,
mainstream medical doctor.
right, right. And
Yeah.
they don't usually say that stuff, but she said it because she sees women in their 20s coming in and they have breast cancer. She said it used to be that women didn't have come up with breast cancer until like 70s and much later in life, but in she's seeing it younger and younger and younger. And I'm 40. How old am I think I'm 45. I was 40,
I know, I forget
43.
myself too.
Yeah, like I don't know.
25. No,
25.
kidding.
There we go. 43 is pretty young to come up with breast cancer, and so
Mm-hmm.
she said that she really believes that it's in our foods,
Right.
specifically in our foods, and so I started my journey then of being healthier. She said, I want you, if you can, I want you to switch to an all organic diet. And she did actually tell me that she would prefer me to go um, meat free because
Wow.
of all the hormones and everything that's pumped
Okay.
in and into the meats. Now she said if I had to eat meat and I felt like I needed it to focus on organic grass-fed meats. And so that was a big thing, and that kind of started me. And how it
Mm-hmm.
is. You're like, I'm doing so good. I'm getting all, and I did great for a while, and then I fell off the
The
wagon.
motivation.
Yeah, got off.
Was that your regular diet before though, Erica?
No, oh,
How big of a
absolutely.
jump was this for you?
It was pretty huge. I had to have, and even after, I still wanted sugar. Honestly, it was hard. Sugar was hard. I didn't do so well with that. But it was a really tough thing. I had actually tried to be vegetarian several years back, and it didn't work out for me. Now I understand why, because it's some of the things that you've been talking about too. Is what our body needs, we can't always get from the plants because of the soil, right?
Okay.
And so I didn't know all those things, and so it was really tough. I actually felt bad as a vegetarian. I didn't feel good, and
Mm-hmm.
so I understand how people feel when they try to move into that lifestyle, and they're like, I don't feel better. I actually feel worse.
Right.
It's because my body wasn't getting all the nutrients because it's not really in the plants anymore from the
Mm-hmm.
soil. It's so
Mm-hmm.
depleted. And so it was a huge jump for me.
And even organic, right? Even organic vegetables, completely
Yeah,
organic vegetables,
yeah, because
which
they're so
they provide.
expensive, right? We think about how expensive it is. And so it was an adjustment financially for us. It was an adjustment mentally. It was an adjustment big mentally, but also
Mhm.
for my body. And like I said, I still wasn't very successful with the plan that I was trying to do, but I was moving in that direction to be
Right.
a healthy version of me.
Good.
Um, and then can I talk about superfoods now?
Yeah, of course
Okay.
you can.
Then I came across the superfoods that I know you talk about too. And
Mhm.
that was a game changer for me. Um, Sugar was, like I said, I was junk food junkie. I was the person who would go and buy cakes and cookies and candies and eat them in my car and throw them in someone else's trash
Oh, no.
before I got home so that no one would know that I ate the cookies and candies. I would hide them because I needed them. I craved them and I felt guilty, right? Because I
Mhm.
knew that I needed to not have these things because it for my health, right? But it was really hard. So when the superfoods came across my plate, I'm willing to try a lot of things. And I tried a lot of things and nothing really ever helped me. But this stuff, I noticed that I think it was a week or maybe 2 weeks into the power shake. And I noticed that I hadn't had a single craving for sugar.
Wow.
That was huge to me because that just never happened. I had to have it every day. I had to.
Mhm.
When I was a junk food junkie, I mean it was just a junk food junkie, and I started to feel better. Um, Being on a more plant-based diet was easier. I hadn't made the full shift off of things like dairy and that kind of thing, but I was doing better with the meats. Um, and so it just really helped me to shift into that healthier lifestyle. And then, a couple months down the road, I started noticing other things in my body. My skin was looking better. And so I got to back up because I forgot
Mhm.
something. After
Okay.
after the radiation and everything, the doctor put me on a medicine called tamoxifen, which
Mm.
it's a hormone inhibitor because the type of cancer that was in my body was hormone driven. And so
Right.
it basically shuts down all your hormones
Oh,
so that
wow.
it can't travel throughout your body, so that the
Mhm.
cancer cells can't travel through the hormones and through the lymph nodes. But I felt awful. I had no energy. I was fatigued. My skin was getting really dry. My hair was getting crispy. It kind of throws you into early menopausal type symptoms.
Okay. Yeah.
Um, and so it was a real problem for me. So even I was still on the tamoxifen when I started the superfoods. And even then, I started to notice the shifts. So
Wow.
the hair started getting shiny and soft again. My skin was starting to plump back up. I used to have much deeper lines in my forehead, and now they're going away. Um,
Nice.
yeah, just my eyebrows started to grow back and fill back in. So I was just really surprised, and I hadn't really done anything but add that the shake in at that point. I hadn't done anything
Mhm.
but the shake, and so
Wow.
that kind of got me excited because I saw shifts. Um, and weight loss was never my goal. It was
Okay.
always my health internally. But that was a nice surprise too because I started to slim up again. And
Nice.
so I decided to go full in at that point. I was going to do the ultimate lifestyle transformation. I was going to do the parasite cleanse. I was doing the cherry. I was going to do all those things
Right.
just to see what happened. And it was about 90 days into all of the things. And I shared a before and after picture, and you're welcome to share that if you want.
Okay. Yeah, of course.
Face was before I even started the shake. My face was so puffy. I was so round. I was swollen all over. I thought it was weight. I thought I
Mhm.
had weight on me. But 90 days in to getting my gut cleaned out, getting my lymphatic system working again, getting my adrenals moving. My body had been basically starving. If I think it was starving, even though I looked like I was not.
Mhm.
But I noticed that I started to get slimmer in the face. I started
Wow.
to get slimmer in my body. My clothes were fitting differently. But when I would get on the scale, I would weigh the exact same that I had
Mhm.
weighed before, but I looked like I lost 20 pounds.
Great. Did you measure like yourself at all?
I did. I
Yeah.
did. I lost about 10 inches overall in inflammation.
Oh.
And it was all inflammation. It was not weight. Like I said, I
Mhm.
did not lose a single pound, but I lost
Wow.
inches, which was incredible. So, yeah. So that's my goal now is to, I know that from radiation treatment, because it does, where they radiate, there are lymph nodes that
Mhm.
got radiated. I'm still working on my lymphatic system. I did used to have a lot of phlegm all the time, especially after the
Okay.
radiation, which I
And
found
that
was
was a lymphatic thing, you think, that it caused? Yeah.
absolutely lymphatic thing, stagnated, and that starting to clear out. Adding watery fruits into my diet. Now, what I eat is primarily I eat fruit most of the day, until my body is ready and says I need something more, and then I'll swap over to veggies.
Okay.
And I do still have some meat. I just only have it maybe a couple of times a week, not couple days
Mhm.
where you have it breakfast, lunch, and dinner,
Mhm.
but a couple of times a week, maybe when we go out to eat for dinner or something like that.
So
Um,
someone listening to this might say, "Well, what about the protein? How do you get your protein?"
yeah. So that was actually, it's a big concern of a lot of people because we've been taught about protein and we need it, we need it, we need it. But what we actually need are the aminos that we
The
that
amino
we
acids, yeah.
the amino acids. And so, and when we're eating that in meat, we're getting it secondhand. So we're not even getting the amount that we think we're getting. And it takes so much longer for your body to process that meat through. But the super aminos, so in the ultimate lifestyle transformation, or even in the core four, which is the maintenance stuff, it's the shake, super aminos, the apothecary, the tart cherry, and the biomedic in that.
Mhm.
The super aminos is where we get, that all the protein. That's actually after I take them in the morning. I take them twice a day. I
Mhm.
take them in the morning and then I take them mid-afternoon. But after I take them in the morning, I have so much energy that I didn't have before. I used to have to drink coffee every morning too. I don't drink any coffee
Yeah.
anymore.
Good for
I just
you.
get up, I have my lemon water, I have my Be Energetic, which helps the adrenals. Um, and I will have my super aminos, and my brain wakes up, my body wakes up, and it's great. And so that's where I get my proteins, from those super aminos.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow. So it sounds like, Erica, it sounds like going through, what a life in bloom is, right? Physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. It
Mhm.
sounds like right now you're blooming. You were underground, not quite above the ground yet, but then you planted the seeds and
Mhm.
you watered them, and of course God, right? And
Yep.
it all you started to grow, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And even with your physical transformation, it sounds like there was a lot of emotional and mental and spiritual components to it as well.
Oh yeah, for sure. For me, this was to me, it's very similar to the inner healing work that I do, because when, and that's emotional, right? The inner healing work is emotional and
Yeah.
mental, mind, will, and emotions. But this is in the body. I mean, we actually hold emotions in our body. And I discovered some areas in this process. I actually received some deliverance and some freedom in some areas while going through this process. Some lies that I had been
Wow.
believing about myself and my life and my worth and my value, um, to the Lord and to just in general. And so, yeah, it was it's been quite a spiritual experience for me as well. So, well, one of the other things I forgot to mention is brain fog. I had massive brain fog before
Okay.
and don't have that anymore. So I think that,
Wow.
that was a big deal for me, honestly. I mean, I could probably talk forever of all the changes and go, oh, I remember this. Oh, and because I tend to forget until after I get off of these things, and it's like, oh, wait a minute, I should have said this too. But
Yeah.
it is, it's been,
And you can remember it now, Erica, because you don't have the brain fog.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It's been really, really good. So now I have gotten off the tamoxifen. I can't say my doctor was happy about that, but
Mhm.
I feel very strongly, not that other people should follow, you know, that was just my story. I
Yeah.
don't want to advocate for anyone else to get off of any
Oh,
medicine,
of course. Yeah.
right? But that was just my story. I never felt like I was supposed to be taking it, and
Mhm.
the Lord had told me in the process, I am healing. I'm going to heal you, and so I knew that my healing came from Him, and He was going to give
Amen.
me the tools to for what would support my body, and that's what I'm doing. I'm supporting my body, the immune system that the Lord gave me,
Yeah.
um, so that I can do what He's called me to do and be healthy in it.
Oh, so good, Erica. Thank you so much. And, you know, I am encouraged by your story as well.
Thank you.
Just thank you so much for sharing. And, heading fall, right, with everything that's going on, and there's, immune system challenges with what's going on in the world. And, you talked about inflammation. And I'm excited that we get to have another Fit Fall reset starting November 1st.
Yep.
And I'm inviting you, well, we'll be hopefully using your Zoom, to my business launch next Saturday at 10 a.m. Central, 9 a.m. Mountain, and what is it, 11 Eastern, 9 Pacific. I think I got them all. I can't really translate it to Australia, but
That's better than me. I know Central. I have to Google what time is it in such and such place.
Yeah, right. And it's also exciting because I'm starting up a Facebook group called Supercharge Your Health. And
Awesome.
I'll be inviting people to it, and I'll be putting different resources in it, and lives that I've done in the past, and just encouraging women to be in radiant health, right? With the physical, mental, emotional, spiritual. I'll start with the physical, and then we'll go through the other ones and bring people along. So um,
Fun.
I will get some information from you and post it too, if that's okay.
Sure.
You said your pictures, your transformation pictures, and
Mm-hmm.
if there's any way, if people are interested in your emotional healing, deliverance stuff, I'm not sure if you're open to new people or not, but
Yeah.
it's all, like you said, tools from God to
Mm-hmm.
enhance our health.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely. You're welcome to put that on there.
of
I
course.
have a waiting list just so everyone knows.
Okay,
But
of course you
but
do.
yeah, you're
You're
welcome.
awesome.
Thank you. Well,
So, well, thank you so much, Erica. I really appreciate you.
you're welcome. Thank
And
you for having me on.
yeah, you're welcome. Have an awesome day. Keep blooming in him, eh? Eh?
Yeah, you too. Hey,
Eh, y'all, eh?
y'all, y'all. Sorry, we're gonna get stuck on. I love it. I love it because we all have. I mean, we're in different regions, even north and south of the United States. We have different words. So
Yeah, it's
yeah,
so good.
yeah. All right.
Diversity. of creation. Yeah. Okay. Bye. Thank
Bye.
you. Hi, it's Phoenix. I'm just inviting all you wonderful women who want to live a vibrant life to my Facebook group called Supercharge Your Health.